Okay, geometry students, one of the things that we discussed today was a project that we have coming up. So we're going to take a little time here and have a look at what all is going to be involved. This is a vocabulary posters project, and it is going to be due. It would be a little more than a week and a half from today, Friday, September the 20th. Okay, now basics, the backgrounds here. Each poster should show the following things. You're going to have a vocabulary term assigned to you. Your poster should reflect that term. It should also state the definition, and I do expect the definition that we have unveiled in class, so you may need to look back through your notes or through the videos. Please do not Google a definition and then put that thing on the poster. That's just going to confuse people. Also, 3 pictures from magazines, newspapers, or other approved media that clearly demonstrates the term. What we're talking about is like some real-world type pictures, not just drawings of the particular term like you've been seeing in your notes, but the term in real life, pictures of that. And magazines are good. You can cut things out of magazines or newspapers or other approved media, and approved media will be things that you'll need to come and talk to me about and see if those are okay or not. But we're absolutely not typing something into a search engine and then printing out pictures that the search engine happens to kick back. So you might want to check and see if you have some old magazines around the house, or maybe ask some neighbors if they have any. You can check with public libraries and things like that for old magazines. And you can always drop by the library. The library always has newspapers and things like that. And at the end of the day, they just recycle them. So they'd probably be happy for you to pick them up and look through the pictures and cut things out rather than throwing them away. Each picture that you do come up with, you're going to put a caption, a little written statement underneath it that explains how the picture demonstrates the term. So we're not going to just throw a picture up that has a million things in it and say, hey, there's a right angle in there somewhere. You'll need to say, hey, where this building meets that ground, a right angle is formed. So you'll have a little written or typewritten thing underneath there. The posters are going to count for a test type grade. Remember that test grades account for half of your 6 weeks average. So this is going to be a big number in your 6 weeks grade. And you can earn additional credit for exceptional creativity or thoughtfulness. There are always a few people that go well above and beyond what was needed in order to get the project done. So if you're going to put the extra time and effort into that, then I will consider such things when I am doing the grading. So let's look at how your grade is going to be broken down. It's going to be a 100-point maximum type grade with possible extra credit. Okay, the scoring rubric is basically going to be this. You got 30 points possible for the term and its definition. So a perfect term and definition, you'd have 30 points for a clear demonstration of the term and easily legible definition to accompany it. So keep in mind, these are going to be posters that are going to end up in the classroom. So we want to write big enough so that if they're hanging up near the ceiling on the wall, we can actually see what the words actually say. Okay, it would be downgraded to about 20 points if your term was there, but it's not easily seen, like we have to search through the poster in order to find it, or maybe your definition is not entirely correct. So again, if you go to Google to get your definition rather than following the one that was given in class, then that is probably going to get you a downgrade of about 10 points. The 10 points on this section would be the term or the definition cannot really be viewed without studying the poster, or one or the other might be missing, or information is simply not right, and of course 0 points for it not being done. Pictures, 30 points also available for the pictures. Full 30 points would be for 3 or more appropriate pictures, clearly representing the item. If you only get 2 pictures, well, 3 was the requirement, so you just lost 10 points, came down to 20 points. Only 1 picture would get you 10, and you'd get 0 points for the pictures being absent, or the pictures do not clearly represent the term that you are supposed to be representing. Captions. Each of the pictures is going to have a caption written in there where you are basically going to communicate with the person looking at the poster that how your term is actually in the picture. So 20 points would be for all 3 of your captions. being there, and they accurately describe where and how the picture shows them. And we are talking about a description, a written description. So don't just put "here it is" and draw an arrow from that to the picture. Okay, actually describe what the picture shows and how that does represent the term. You're going to drop down if you only have 2 captions down to 14 points. 1 caption would be down to 7. And then if you do not have captions or they do not make any sense for the pictures that they have along with them, that'll drop you down to 0 points. The remaining 20 points are going to be for basically the quality and the overall professionalism of your project. Okay, guys, I wish I could say that it's all about the quality of what you put into your work. Okay, I wish I could say it's about that, but let's face it, humans are reactionary creatures. They respond to what the overall appearance of your work is going to look like. Okay, consider the fact if you had a job and you had to do a paper or report for your boss, you could do an outstanding job on the paper. What happens if you spill coffee on it on the way to work? His first impression of the project is going to be how sloppy it looks, and that's going to reflect poorly upon you. So you need to consider things like that when you put yourself into a project. It reflects on you. It represents you. So 20 points, we ought to be able to get all 20 points here. The project appears to have a great deal of care and sufficient thought and time put into it. Okay, you'll drop down to 15 points if the project's quality is pretty good with some minor blemishes. So maybe you had to erase or correct, or it got a little crumpled, things like that. Drop you down some. 10 points if the project appears to have some thought and time into it, but could have been cared for a good bit better. 5 points, the project is of poor quality, possibly including being damaged in some manner, and down to 0 if your project basically looks like you just scribbled it together, threw it together at the last possible moment before it was due. Folks, the bottom line here is on projects, I have had projects that have been turned in with tire tracks across them. I've had projects that have been blown away in a windstorm. I actually had a project one time where somebody had put it on the kitchen floor, were working on it, went to bed. They were going to get up the next morning and continue working on it, and I guess the family dog just thought it looked a whole lot like the newspapers he was supposed to go on because he used the project as a puppy potty. Okay, these are things that are going to reflect obviously badly on your project. Also, keep in mind, poster board, it is flat. When you take flat poster board and you roll it up, something happens to it and it becomes permanently rolled up. That makes it very, very difficult for your teachers to grade it. It also makes it nearly impossible for us to hang something on the wall. So I know it's convenient for you to roll up poster board to carry it easily and just to make it more convenient for you. But keep in mind, it's not about your convenience on a project that you are turning in for a teacher. You need to think about what is most convenient for the teacher or the person that's getting your project. So please keep in mind when you're getting your project together how you're going to transport it, if you're going to keep it flat, things like that. Okay, now we've covered several vocabulary terms to this point of the year, and it will get no better from here. I have selected 20 of the terms that we have discussed so far, things that you are responsible for. And what I did is I went around the classroom and I used a random number generator, and whatever number came out, that was what term you were assigned. So if you managed to miss the day that we did the assignments in class, you have been assigned a term, and you will need to visit with me to find out what term it is that you were assigned. We are not just picking our own terms and turning in whatever we feel like turning in. People are doing certain terms so we can have a good representation of all of the different terms shown in the classroom so we can all learn from the projects. So visit with me if you happen to miss class today, and that's your project. Once again, it is due on September the 20th. That is about 11 days from now. That is plenty of time to get the job done, but make sure you don't put it off until the last minute. Get it done early, turn it in early so that you won't have to worry about it at the last moment.